corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
Chief Concerns is presented by BetOnline and Olipop. Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns, and ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It's football season, and you know what that means? It means it's time to get in on BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Come on, baby. Go. Yes. That's a first down. It's a first down. This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients. Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being. So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs. Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns, the Week 2 post-game show. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there in the middle is former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Teja Dash. So guys, Chiefs were around a 6.5-point favorite going into this game, and things are looking bleak towards going into the end of this game. Harrison Butker comes through on a 51-yard field goal at the end to give the Chiefs a 26-25 victory. But very, very tough win to come by in this one. We had to earn this one. And, of course, have some fans out there who think the Chiefs got bailed out by the refs again. But a flag's a flag, and that was a penalty. They should have called it earlier in the game when Rashee Rice, the same thing happened to him. But they called it at the end. I guess circumstantially, I guess people don't like it again like that. But nonetheless, a flag's a flag, and they called correctly. But lots to get into this one tonight. But before we guys kind of break it down, your kind of general kind of consensus on this game tonight.
I'll tell you, for me, it was not protecting the football; it was turnovers, and so I think that's where the difference was in this game as far as the domination. And so whether it was just not taking care of the football, Carson still, obviously, Patrick Mahomes throwing 2 picks. I think that's really the difference. And so, we used to always talk about your percentages and chances on winning a game with turnovers. So anytime that you had 2 turnovers, obviously the run for intro in the game, you're really going to lose. And so we've seen ourselves up against it today to the point that it took Butker kicking a 53-yard field goal to seal the deal for it. And so if it went that, we didn't get the flag at the end, which was the right call. He was there early, so they can say they bailed us out or not. It definitely was interference. But putting all that aside, if we wasn't in that position, we probably would have lost this game. And so there were some things they did right defensively against us. Some things I think we should have done offensively even more, especially when we were eating the running game. And sometimes our problem is we just can't help who we are. As soon as we start running the football, we get yards after yards. Then we come back another series, and all of a sudden it's this pass on first down. And so they know that. They understand our tendencies. And so that's what they're trusting. They're trusting that the Chiefs are going to be who they thought they were, right? Throw the football with Patrick Mahomes. and we did it. We did it, and rightfully so. We got the guys that we can throw the ball around to. That's not really an issue. The problem goes into it when you step the tempo of the game. It is about patience. It is about, how do you control, the game, and the tempo. And so when we start getting into that, we start giving it up to them. And so Joe Burrow, I started seeing him on the field more than what I wanted to. And they really didn't deserve it. It wasn't like Jamar Chase was killing us. Number one receiver wasn't even doing it. It was the tight ends that was killing us. I think he had 114 yards first half against us. Let me see. I had this down, wrote it. 113 yards to the tight ends first half of the game.
Oh, to the tight ends, yeah.
So they understood what our weakness was. The thing is, you're isolated with our linebackers and our safeties in the field. Let the tight ends run, especially if you're not getting any type of pressure. And so that's another thing too. So we had to talk about what some of our weaknesses were, and where we had to get much better in the game. And I've seen a lot of the talking that Nick Bolton was doing to the defensive tackles and maybe some of the linebackers, like guys not being in the right position. The last one where he called Spags called the blitz, the fire zone blitz. Bolton told Dana, "Look, you got to get out here to the flat." And actually, that was a good call because that's exactly where Joe Burrow was going. And so Dana was in the passing lane that he couldn't throw it. Well, he didn't even see the blitz coming from the backside. It's a weak side blitz. It was beautifully executed, beautifully done, beautifully called by Spags at that moment. But we have some issues at left tackle, no doubt about it. A rookie looked like a rookie today, but we understood he went against one of the premier defensive ends in Hendrickson. And that guy he's one of the best for a reason. And so there's going to be some questions. Wanya Morris came in. I didn't think they was going to do it, but they made that decision. So we'll see how it's going to look going forward.
Teja, what were your overall takeaways? We'll get into each kind of thing that JD talked about. That was kind of
yeah. And by the way, I think that was a very aggressive move to yank him. So that shows you how tired they were. But we'll get into that, I guess, more. But yeah, I was like, man, that was they really did it, huh? I'll be really blunt about it. We shouldn't have won that game. I enjoyed us winning it, but we shouldn't have won that game. I mean, you can go over the stats down the line that they beat us in almost every single stat except for we ran the ball more effectively. Mm-hmm. But everything else they pretty much won except for penalties, which is why we won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's one other one we won. So yeah, running, penalties, and they had us in time of possession. They had us in total yards. They had us in turnovers. We won because of penalties and a defensive touchdown. That's the only reason why we won. If you take the defensive touchdown away, it's not even close.
And also throw in missed extra points too. We won on that category, or an extra points made. So you give them that to the tie game.
We tied them in red zone, but they were 2 of 4. So they had more red zone conversions, but we had the same percentage. But I'd still give that to them because they had more than us. And I'm not even criticizing the defense. I think the defense, the cliche, they did enough to win. They did enough to win. The defense came up big in big spots, and they had defensive touchdown. I mean, what more could you ask for from them? But 1 of 8 from third downs, I'm backtracking. I'm almost through 2022. I think that's our worst third down day in 2+ years. I mean, the worst I've seen is 3 of 10 from us in the last 2 years so far. 1 of 8 is bad. Mm-hmm. We've had way worse weapons out there catching balls for us and did better than 1 of 8. Yeah. So it's inexcusable. Mahomes, worst start of his career, 3 touchdown, 3 interception ratio. I gotta say it's the worst our offense has looked in a long time. And that's saying a lot because we had a lot of struggles at certain parts last year.
Well, I mean,
what do you mean?
The first 2 games last year,
we did better statistically through a lot of those games. Through those games, though, we almost won the Lions game. We gave that game away actually.
And week 2 was Jacksonville.
Yeah, so statistically, we were better. Mahomes was better. I think he had a 4-2 touchdown ratio last year at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelce looked, even with one knee, he looked better than this in the second game of the season. Not to say like he looks bad. Maybe it's an underutilization thing. But you know what? Like saving him for the playoffs. I mean, I guess if you keep eking out wins, and sure, keep doing it to save him for the playoffs. But with Hollywood Brown out for the not a foreseeable future, for the whole long haul, yeah, time to uptick Kelce's usage a bit. Whatever they were doing, take the curtain down, lift the curtain, and let's go, because it's not looking good for our offense right now.
Well, I'll say this: what I was seeing they were doing, okay, what they've been doing in the past is they drop 7 and just rush 4. So when you have 4 guys that's effective against 5 guys, then you have that extra guy that can be in the zone. And some of the things that we were running route combination wise was a whole lot of floods on one way and wasn't really opening up the field. We just wasn't doing it. And so I was wondering why I was running some of the route combinations. I'm like, we were kind of regulated to just one side of the field. And so when you cut yourself down, which I get, but when you do that, they have an extra guy in that zone, right? Okay. I understand why Andy does those things, because you got high-low guys. You could stretch linebackers and safeties in different ways, because you have a quarterback that could make the tight throws, right, into the windows. But they understand that. That's why that one linebacker sloughed off, came back and got that ball over the middle, because Patrick wasn't even looking that way. I think he's thinking in his head like the same thing. We want to get, Kelce going, right? Let's get Kelce going on this drive. Let's get him the ball, because we understand that sometimes when those two start cooking, it's a whole different thing. Now you got a whole lot to worry about. If Travis Kelce starts cooking, Rice starts cooking, then everybody starts cooking. Pacheco, your one guy, starts cooking already, okay? Carson still comes in. He gets a little bit of that dinner too. And then you want everybody else to get some. And so we just couldn't get Kelce going because he's running that part of the middle. But then what they started understanding is, let's put that extra guy in that zone. Let him slough off a little bit. So I think that was a lot of what we were doing, is we were just cutting down the field on ourselves. Toward the end of the game, we started trying to open it up a little bit more, right? And we got to understand that you still have a guy in Xavier Worthy who's a rookie, okay? Yeah. The one that the dude got the interception, that was a beautiful interception by him. That was a hell of a play.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I was like, "Dad, gone!" Like
that was his second interception, technically, that drive. By the way, got called back. So just keeping that in mind. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but what I was saying is, like running that route, I would want him to get some of his real estate back, some of his grass. So he started on the numbers. Okay. So he started on the number. He's running outside. He's going to go route. Like you got to push up against that corner. You can't let the corner push you out of bounds. Trent McDuffie did a great job of that, right? So when you start pushing the wide receiver out of bounds, you win primarily, because one, you got him on your hip. 2, you can physically try to push him out of the place. You know what I mean? And you get your real estate as a DB. The thing is, you want to be able to get your real estate back, get the yards back, so you can catch outside shoulder. That's what you want the catch to be, outside shoulder. You dig what I'm saying? So that's when Patrick's throwing that ball, Worthy wants to catch it on the outside shoulder. That's what a streak route ball should be, okay? He shouldn't get him pushed all the way to the sideline where he has to go up and go get the ball, front it. He shouldn't do that. So those are little things. Those are little things they'll talk about when they get into the wide receiver room about, hey, this is what you should do in that play, right? You can see where he's a stronger player, how when he his release is a little bit more tighter. Look at how he runs his route. Look at where Worthy runs his. So Rice got a whole lot more room. That's why he catches the ball this way, right? Not saying that maybe Patrick, that throw could have been, was it underthrown?
It looked a little underthrown.
Yeah.
But it looked underthrown because he's not getting his grass back. That's part of it, because he don't get the real estate back. So that's part of what he has to learn how to fight. Worthy has to learn how to fight on the outside, okay? This ain't college. They're going to put their hands on you. In the NFL, they're going to be physical with you. Yeah. So he's going to learn that. This is his only second game. But like little things like that, in the course of a game affects you. It really does. So that's what I was saying on some of those things, man. we'll get better. This is a good game. It's a good game for us to learn a whole lot about. So,
sticking with the turnovers, because the topics I wanted to go over were kind of the things that everybody on social media were kind of getting a lot of talked about. And one of the things that was talked about a lot was it seems obviously we talk about the weapons we have now. We didn't have the Xavier Worthy types last year. Our receiver room is deeper than it was last year. And Mahomes has talked about having that vertical element again. We have that more so than we did last year. And it seems like based on the first two games, and I'm just curious what you guys think, is Mahomes kind of forcing it to go vertical and pushing it a little bit more? Whereas it seemed like over the last 2 years, he's learned to kind of, work the ball down. He'll be patient with it and kind of work it. And it seems like last game, not so much. I know he threw that interception in the middle of the field, but this game, the one interception that was taken away, then the one 2 plays later that was picked, and the one in the middle of the field to Travis. It seems like there is that patience of, trying to work it downfield. It's gone a little bit. He feels like he's holding the ball a little bit longer back there than what we saw over the last 2 years where he was trying to, matriculate the ball down the field. Are you seeing that element, JD, that he's looking for that again? He's kind of getting impatient to want to do that again?
I'll say it like this. If you have a shiny new car that is fast, okay, you are tempted to every time you get in it to go fast, right? You don't want to go the speed limit. You don't want to do it, okay? It's practical.
Is this a Rasheed Rice joke?
Huh? No, no, golly, no. I wouldn't even think about that.
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
But you are tempted to do that, okay? You are tempted to do it. The thing is, because he has the weapons, he want to push it down the field. I said this. Rasheed Rice is going to be your guy on the outside that you need to be able to try to get to throw the ball to. I said that. He's going to be your weapon to go ahead and do those things. And so Patrick, because he has that ability and the guys to do it, why not try to push it down the field? Why not? Right? The thing is, like you were saying, sometimes you got to just have the patience when you can do it. Sometimes you got, if you know there's a stretch that there's going to be cops at, you don't want to go fast, right? Go somewhere it's going to be out like the Autobahn somewhere where you can actually drive open in the area where you can go fast. So Pat's got to pick and choose the times to do it. Sometimes you just got to take what the defense gives him, check it down. The one he threw over to Kelce, he could have thrown it to Pacheco in the flat, and kept moving the football. So yeah, Marcus, I think it's a little bit like, dang God, I got the weapons. Why don't I want to use them? Why not push it down the field? So I think somebody that is impatient, but I have no problem with him trying to take some shots. I mean, that's part of what you want to be able to do. Back up the defense. That's got to be a part and element of what you do as far as threatening them. So that's what I feel.
Teja, your thoughts on Mahomes? A lot of people have a lot to say about this subject.
Well, it's funny that we started the game really conservative, and we were even saying, I think Marcus at one point, that they weren't throwing past 5 yards. They were all right at the line of scrimmage. They were quick throws. Maybe they were just coming out of the gates expecting the Bengals pass rush to be fierce, so they wanted to get out of his hands really quickly. And then they started. I think the Rice catch really was like, oh man, maybe we have something here we can exploit them on. So maybe they just went for it after that. I mean, Mahomes, look, he came into the league as a gunslinger. He tempered it down when he needed to. There's going to be certain times where he's going to want to let it cut loose. This game was not one of them. It was take what they're giving you. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, we're going to see it sometimes where it works, sometimes where it doesn't. And today it didn't. And we're lucky to get a win out of it, really. And to go quickly back to what I was saying earlier, Denver Broncos week 7 in 2020 season was our worst third down. I haven't gone through every game, but from what I could tell, we were 0 of 8 that game from third down.
Wow.
So this is the second worst we've been in 4 years.
And we've won both those games.
We actually scored 43 points that game, which I'm like, how? We must have. I mean, Drew Lock was starting, so I'm sure we have 2 pick sixes or something in that game or something.
Probably weren't offense that much.
Yeah. We must have had Sorensen 50-yard return for a touchdown. yeah, it was one of those games where it all.
I think that was the first year we had the show. That was the first year of Chief Concerns. That was year one, JD.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
but yeah,
so
we had a kickoff return too. But yeah, that's a long time ago. That's a bad. It's bad. It was a bad offensive game. It was really bad, and the win takes away some of that sour, right?
It does, but I mean, JD knows they're going to be talking about that. They're not happy with the way that game looked. I mean, the film room's going to be ugly tomorrow. I'm sure film study's going to be pretty rough.
He was talking about this after last game. Careful with the ball. Be careful. You can't do that. You can't play that way. It's another game of it too. So we're lucky to be 2-0 and have these conversations. I'd rather be 2-0 having these conversations than 0-2 having these conversations for sure. So
play calling wise, this is something that was another point of contention on Twitter. And also good news. It looks like Pacheco, Jeff Darlington reported that Andy Reid says Pacheco is getting tests and x-rays on his ankle, and he doesn't know extent. Not to play doctor here, but to chill out fantasy managers. I interviewed Pacheco on the field after the game, and I got zero sense he's dealing with anything serious, but we'll see.
Yeah, he got up toward the end, man. I think he's going to be all right.
They said he was celebrating at the end.
Yeah, he was. And so, if you hurt that bad, man, you're going to have a limp or somebody going to help you up and, things. So I think he's going to be all right. He might be a little sore, but I think we'll be fine. So,
yeah. The injury looked pretty. He was twisted up. It looked like it could have been bad. Thankfully, hopefully it's nothing serious.
If he lose those lbs, made his bones and ligaments a little more limber.
But one point of contention online. Opening drive of the game, 4th and goal, 2-yard line, and we decided to go for a field goal. And we literally just got a 4th and 1 to get to that 1 or 2 yard line, where Carson Steele got the first down there, and we go for a field goal instead. And then when later on in the game, when the Bengals are down there, 4th and goal at the 1 or 2 yard line, they go for a touchdown, they score it. JD, were you surprised they went for a field goal? Were you surprised how conservative they were right out the gate, right there? 2 yard line, smash that thing in there. I mean, obviously we didn't score in those first 3 plays, but Carson Steele's getting short yardage stuff. We could have done something there. But are you surprised they went for a field goal instead of trying to go for the jugular to start the game out?
It's when you have actually to me that amount of times to go into the end zone and you don't get it, it's a little demoralizing. And so what I was seeing, I was watching the offensive line get kneed up. I watched Suamate get beat twice on the inside. We even had it where Joe Tooney pulled, and our guys were pulling behind him. They got hit in the backfield. And so the Bengals defense, when they decided to bow up, they did a good job. You could tell in the red zone, they did a good job against us. And they were prepared if we threw the football. They were prepared if we ran the ball. I think, for them, Hill went out. Who was the other guy that ended up going out for him too? Number 98. That sucker right there. He was the one that was causing all the havoc inside. So sometimes you got to get clean, and we just didn't look clean down there. That was, I think, part of the problem. So maybe some of the calls they wanted back, but you got to be able to score with your man. You at the 2 yard line, you got to score with your man. 3 yard line, you got to be able to score with your man, and we weren't able to do it. But that's when you really get down to the nitty gritty and the dirtiness of what football really is. And the thing is man on man, you got to beat your guy. Okay, you got to beat your guy, and we just didn't do it up front like we should have. And I think that's why they pulled the trigger to go ahead and kick it. Really. So I just because the Bengals had 3, we went ahead to have 3 too, right? Instead of just, you don't want to go, turn over on downs. You want to get something too. So don't take points off the board. Just go ahead and get them.
From a mentality standpoint, JD, I know obviously you said it's demoralizing when you couldn't punch it in the first 3 times, but from a mentality standpoint, I'm not questioning Andy Reid's decision-making at all. I'm just saying from a mentality standpoint to players, when you are at the 2 yard line, and you obviously know, you always see Mahomes and the guys who want to get the play calling because they want to go for it on 4th down. They would go for it on 4th down all game if the coaches let them. But on a play like that, 4th and goal at the 2 yard line, when a coach is like, nah, we're going to go with the field goal. Is that more of a Can that be something where it's like we're sending a signal to the team, like we're playing more conservative today? We know we want to take the points. I mean, can that be something that can be like a more of a mentality thing where it can kind of, send a signal to the players about something?
I think we were down for more plays, just the 3. Like we were, I think, with inside the 10, maybe the 5 for more than just 3 plays. It was more plays than that.
Yeah, because we had the ability to get the first down at the 2, and
Yes.
still got that one on 4th, and then we went back, and that was the.
So that was the struggle. So we struggled on that.
We had six plays from the 6-yard line.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, man. And your guys, like, okay, look, we're just going to go ahead. Let's regroup. Go ahead and get the points, and we'll come back. Because the worst thing you could possibly do, like if you do go down and you don't score, then you're giving them a little bit of momentum, right? So I think sometimes it's important that you go ahead and take the points, right? Just line back up, let our defense play, get the ball back, sustain another drive, and just keep moving on, man. So sometimes, man, it's a chess match. It really is. And I've seen it the entire game, just in the situations, man. This thing was up and down the entire game. Coaches had to make decisions about what it is that they actually wanted to do. So whether it was just because of a turnover, whether because like Jamar Chase making a penalty, whether it was 4th and whatever you want to do toward the end. I mean, I was like, man, you had to have some play calling, some plays to specifically for those situations. And I think that's the hard part that people don't quite understand. So I think that's why Andy did it, man. He just like, hey, man, take the points. Shoot. You said 6 times, Tej?
Yeah, we had a 2nd and 4 from the 6, 3rd and 4 from the 6, a 4th and 1 from the 3. We got that. And I think that's part of the reason why people are very frustrated, because we just went for a 4th and 1 from the 3, got it. We were pretty much in that same exact scenario 3 plays later. This time, instead of a first down you're getting a touchdown. So, like, just go for it. Do it again. We just did it. But you know what? Like, you're right. I mean, we just saw our team get pretty much 5 yards in 6 plays. That's not very encouraging.
No.
And to come away with nothing at that point after a 16-play drive,
yes,
would be really brutal. It'd be a terrible start. That's a big swing, right?
That's a huge swing.
7-3 sounds great, but 0-3 sounds way worse.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're losing more than 3 points there. You're losing a lot more than that.
A lot more. Yeah.
And consider this way. We probably thought we're going to be down there all day after that drive. We're like, okay, you know what? We'll be back here again. Take the points. We'll just keep building off this. So, like, they didn't think it was going to be a problem getting down there again. If we didn't get that 3 points, we lose this game. So I'm okay with it because we won 26-25.
Yeah.
With the last second field goal. So I think it was fine. I think, when you're watching it happen, you think, oh, we just did it. Let's do it again. But I get why they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to some of the comments we have in the chat so far. M Banks for you. How about those Chiefs? Hart? Yeah, yes, sir. Laura Wake Ramos, what's up, Laura? Wyo made Chase talked all week. Glad he talked through the game till he got an unsportsmanlike conduct called, which was that whole situation was crazy. You got Burrow coming in there shoving the heck out of his guy. I thought that was, and I thought they were going to get into kind of argument too, because I think Chase said something to him. I don't know what he said exactly, but yeah, it was it looked pretty heated there for.
That's a guy a lot more mad than the missed penalty right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a guy that's mad about a lot of things.
A lot of things.
That's not just that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why he's mad. Check the stat from my Next Gen Stats. Chiefs cornerback Trent McDuffie aligned across Jamar Chase on 17 of the 38 routes, including 4 routes in press coverage. McDuffie allowed just 1 reception for 4 yards on 2 targets as the nearest defender on Chase. So, the cuffs on him all night. Right? Trent McDuffie was taking him all over the place, and I wasn't letting him go anywhere. So, so that's why on top of his contract situation, all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes over there, getting tackled by McDuffie, just kind of getting cooked by McDuffie all day. That's why he was pissed off. And there were so many things that going through his mind. So we have a question from Mike Brennan. How much did the steal fumble affect the play calling at the goal line?
I mean, I don't think it affected it too much. you know, the thing is you can't be scared to run the ball. And you see how we started running the ball with him still after the fumble. I think it had more to do with how we were blocking up front. That's where the concern was, because we were getting beat on the line of scrimmage. And if you don't know the line of scrimmage, especially on short yardage and goal line, that's hard. That's tough. That's tough. So, and guys got to grab grass at that point, right? King Suma, you know, being at BYU, you're not running a whole lot of just goal line stuff. You're not really doing a whole lot of that. That takes practice. It takes work. It's the physicality of the football, what you do. And it's all attitude. It's all attitude, toughness, perseverance. And so sometimes if they win that battle, that could affect you. That can affect you. It's frustrating, man. Especially when you come, you know, like you said, the 6 times you tried it on the line of scrimmage and you come back, the guys on the line, you know, on the line, offensive linemen, man, they over pissed. They are pissed. They pissed at each other. They're not getting it done. But yeah, I don't think it affected as far as the play calling at all.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the fumble happen after that goal line?
Happened after that. Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
But I think when we got to go on the next time was when we did that play to Wanye. But I think Steele was in there. Yeah, he was actually the back on that. Pacheco was pretty much the running back on that entire drive, but Steele was in that goal package. We just ended up throwing an out route to Wanye instead.
Yeah, it was a beautiful play.
It was.
Yeah.
The days of habit.
We did not run it from within the 3 plays we had within the 5. No, we did. I'm sorry, we did run it once. Yeah, Steele ran it on 2nd and 2 to get a first down at the 4-yard line.
Yeah,
so he ran it within the 5. So, but we didn't run it after that. But we probably would have ran it on the next play.
I will say it is, besides the fumble. I know, you know, whatever that happens, and you know he'll learn from it. But as far as having a short yardage back, I know Pacheco's been great for us, you know, being our full-time, you know, feature back. But having a short yardage back to get those gritty yards that Steele was getting, we haven't had. I mean, we're getting Blake Bell to come in and do the belldozer sneak because we couldn't have a short yardage guy to do those things. We don't have a QB to do QB sneaks with. So finally, we have a guy who can get those hard, gritty, like 2 yards, you know, 4th and inches, 4th and 1 type plays, and he looked great doing that today outside his fumble.
He did. I think where they were successful, looking on the other side of the ball, going against us, they were doing a whole lot more of the tight end fullback lead on our linebackers, on Bolton and on Tranquil. And they were killing our defensive tackles who wasn't named Chris Jones. And so that's why it was effective. For us, it was the opposite. We had the tight ends kind of run in every once in a while, but if you get bunched up, okay, and I'm telling you from experience as a tight end running into all of that mess, if you can't get in there clean, legs get cut down and stuff, it's hard to filter yourself through that, right? Because everything because all you want to do is just get bottled up. That's all you want to do. Create a pal, bottle up, right? That's it. If you create a pal at that level, you win. That's what you're telling your defense, you win. And so the same thing offensively is you got to get all forwards, grab grass, get up underneath the guy, and you got to bulldoze him out. You're a human bulldozer at that moment, right? And so Carson Steele, if you just run in, you don't have a lead back or that guy's not getting through there cleanly, then it's even tougher to get those yards. So
what did you think about Chanel coming in on those plays? I thought that was interesting.
That's who they need to have in a guy like that. That sucker right there.
So you like that, then bringing him in on offense?
I do. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Because he's a guy that defensive guys have just a different mentality. I started as a defensive guy. I just know one of the reasons I was good at blocking on offense is because I just had an attack mentality, and it came off from defense. So.
Yeah, that's why we have tight ends, JD. We're supposed to have Hendershot, Noah Gray doing those kind of things, but we have to bring Leo in on that for this now.
Oh yeah,
it's a different age, JD. We need our JD back there.
Yeah.
But sticking with the guys in the trenches. So now you guys both mentioned this as one of the keynotes of this game and one of the key takeaways of this game. So, yeah, there's a lot of people in the Chiefs Kingdom who wanted to crown Kingsley as our next our next left tackle of the future, the next Willie Rofe, the next Eric Fisher. But after the first two, I know Willie Rofe.
What? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. He's Willie Rofe?
Well, I'm saying
Eric Fisher?
Which part of that are you more upset about? That Eric Fisher and Willie Rofe were named in the same sentence?
Yes. Yeah. Well, hold on.
Or that Willie Rofe was named at all?
Well, I'm just saying we want to taper that down just yet. I don't know who said Willie Rofe and Eric Fisher. He is, but I will say he's a tackle of the future. I agree with that. I agree with that. But we're talking about a different caliber of player like Willie Rofe now. Okay, that's a whole different.
It's a Hall of Fame talent. Yeah. No, I would say as far as being our left tackle of the future,
I got you.
Starting left tackles and Keith Chiefs can not on Willie Rofe. I hope he can be anywhere near Willie Rofe. I hope so. I don't think so, but I hope so.
When you said Willie Rofe,
I'd be very happy with Fisher.
When you said Willie Rofe, I see Willie Rofe do like this. Huh? Willie was like, what?
He'd be insulted by it.
JD, hey, tell Marcus now. Ain't too many. Hey, look, ain't too many guys walking around like him ever.
No.
Yeah.
So
he's one of one.
Yeah.
So anyway, but obviously a lot of people in Chiefs have been hyping him up for a long time. I guess so the point I'm getting at, they're treating him like he is going to be a future Hall of Famer, which he could be. He's young. It's the second game.
He's young.
But yeah. But this game, we had a hard time with Hendrickson. We said that was going to be a difficult matchup last week. He went against some good guys in Baltimore. He held his own, ish, without a lot of help. This week, we said it was going to be interesting to see how much help he gets. And I will say this, he didn't get a lot of help today. And in the fourth quarter of that game, after Hendrickson's been having his way with him all game, they just pull him for Wanya Morris. And for me, just watching that game, I'm like, wait, so they just pull the guy without ever giving him help? I mean, P. Ryan barely played up until the last 3 minutes of that game, which I thought was an interesting choice for them not to use him at all. But when Kingsley's not doing well on the left side at all, that's when you put P. Ryan in there or give him some kind of help with a chip on the side. And they didn't really do that for him, which is why I got to ask you, how big of a deal is it that they pull him out in the fourth quarter of that game when the game's on the line?
How big of a deal? Look, the guy's going to have growing pains. He's going against one of the premier defensive ends in the NFL right now, okay, in Hendrickson today. So let's just start with that, okay? All right. So we got to have some context what we're talking about. Hendrickson's that much better than the defensive ends he faced against the Ravens, okay? And the Ravens' defensive ends are good, but Hendrickson's just that much better, all right? So what he was able to get away with, sometimes you might have a blind spot because you're like, okay, maybe he's ready, maybe not. And then you find out you get a guy like Hendrickson who comes in, who has a whole different type of juice to him, whole different type of motor. And I'm going to tell you something. When a guy starts to eat your lunch and he's coming over and over again, and there was probably times that the ref could have called holding against Sumate a few times. I know he wanted to pull it out. He had Hendrickson around his neck a few times I've seen. I'm like, oh, that's a hold. And he didn't call it. And then the one time was kind of blatant. The next time he came in, they called it. I'm just like, well, now Hendrickson's going to, now he's in his bag. Now he's got him. Now he's just like, now I'm going to go eat. I'm just going to go take care of this young guy. Our backs try to get a little bit on him, try to, maybe give him a chicken wing. And they just didn't get to do it. And maybe they should have been a little bit more patient to help him out some more than what they did. But I guess they decided that Wanya, they seen enough to bring Wanya in. Now, I don't know if it was hurt. I'm just assuming that he was fine, and they pulled him out because they were just like, okay, Wanya is the more athletic guy. We want to put in, see how he's going to look, especially on this last, series of coming down to win the game. They put him out there for the screen, right, to get out there. So I have no idea. I'm just speculating that that's why they pulled him. But if that's the case, and they were just like, look, he's had enough. Let's see what Wanya can do against it. I think that might have been it. A guy who's fresh, Wanye's fresh, caught a touchdown. So put a fresh guy on Hendrickson, who's has been playing all game, and see how you fare after that. So
I did note that when they called a penalty on Wanye when he had the hands to his face, they showed Kingsley on the sideline. Kingsley's like doing one of these, like, see, that's what I've been dealing with all game, kind of thing.
All game, yeah. He's like, hey, that's the same stuff you've been doing to me all day. He's just trying to plead his case. That's the same stuff. That's what I've been going against. Yep, all day. See, yeah. So, what do you think, Paige? Yeah, do you think it was? What do you think about it? How did that look for you?
I don't think it was fair to him. I obviously don't think he did a great job today. I'm trying to be polite, but we said this all week. We talked about how he was on an island all last week. Mm-hmm. And we said he needed help. I asked you, I said, do you think they'll come out of the game right in the Bengal game, giving him help right away, or are they going to see how he does on an island? And you were like, they should just give him help right out of the gate. They didn't. They didn't give him help at all.
No, they tried.
Romo talked about Pacheco. He whiffed on that. He didn't even touch him.
Right.
So that doesn't mean what is a chip? A chip only helps if you actually touch it.
Right.
Like, if you're not going to touch him, it doesn't do anything. In fact, it's even worse because he probably thought he was going to get a chip. And when you don't get one, it's like, oh, great. Now I'm still on an island, but I thought you were going to help me. It's like playing help defense in basketball. You funnel him in knowing the guy's there, but if he's not there, he's got to open layup. So it's like you get screwed. He's young. He's a development tackle, man. We talked about this. He played great really early on in camp and preseason, but, I mean, it's not going to get any easier either. So I know a lot of people want to talk about a lot of things in the chat. I see that. But this is a problem because look at our schedule coming up, guys. We play the Falcons, who have a good pass rush last year. The Chargers, Saints, and Niners, and Raiders, who ate our lunch last year at the D-line position. So Hendrickson, if you listen to Romo, said it. If they win, it's because of Hendrickson.
Single-handedly. Yes.
One guy. So, we all want to talk about Kelce. Well, we'll get there. But we would have lost today because of one man against our one man because we refused to help him. So it is a big deal, and we got to talk about it. He's got to get better, but at the same time, they got to help him out and not just pull him every time he's getting beat. Let him get some of his confidence back. That's my take on it.
No, it's spot on with it. That's the truth. And like you said, man, look, Atlanta, Chargers, New Orleans, San Fran, and the Raiders.
Yes.
And it's good to give this guy, King Suma, these challenges early, okay? Take the lumps early. Learn from the lumps, okay? Learn from them. See where you need to get better. You've gone against one of the best pass rushers in the league, best defensive end, not even a pass rusher. Run stopper, everything. Like when I'm talking about totality of a defensive end, he is an old school defensive end. That's who he is. Okay, like guys like that, you're going to have a full day. I know that. When I used to go against defenses like that, I know this is going to be a long day for me. Okay, you better buckle your chin strap up because you're on for a ride. And Hendrickson gave him every single bit that he just could not handle.
Yeah,
he couldn't handle. So this is getting better. He'll grow from this. He'll learn from it. But some of that is what affected maybe some of Travis. So let's one thing it does have an effect. It does.
Well, yeah, like you said to start it, and maybe Gary wasn't on there to start the show. You said they didn't have to bring more than 4. And when you don't have to bring more than 4, you can bracket, you can throw more guys back, you can overcover guys like Travis so he doesn't get open. So if your 4-man rush is not getting there, then there's no room for Travis to catch balls.
I drew it up real quick. See it? That's how you drop the 7. Okay, on that one, and with that the interception, the linebacker fluffs off, gets the interception. So you basically almost running like a triangle inside. Underneath you got full zone, We know we like throwing the ball quick to Rice, to Trav. So when you run those things, okay, you can cover more ground. And so that's what you try to do with Patrick is cover as much as possible, right? You know you still got the young wide receiver out there. Let him win against your guys. Like when you go into game planning, you got to know what teams love doing with guys. Okay. They know us. We played the Bengals several times. We know it. They know us, we know them. Okay. So we added pieces. And they just kind of felt like, well, Stu, we're going to keep doing our defense that we go against Patrick and those guys. Let's keep rushing 4. It's been working in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're running 8, but let's rush. You know, we drop 8. Sometimes let's drop 7. See how they do. So, and especially when you know he's got the shiny new toys that he want to throw the ball down the field, right? So I bank on Hendrickson getting some pressure. I bank on him doing that. Flush Patrick out so he don't set his feet, so he can throw the ball quick, right? So that means something. Teams know what they're doing. They know.
Now we did address Kelce. It seemed like there was kind of a little bit in and out rotation with him last week, a little bit, but he was doing more time blocking. And you highlighted that he spent a lot of time blocking versus being able to be a pass catcher that we know and love. But you do a little bit more of everything as a tight end, and that's what the tight end does, a little bit of everything. And we're seeing this guy Gary Hands 18 in the comments here, like Teja mentioned. He wants to know, why are we not throwing to Kelce? And obviously you talk about them dropping 7, them dropping 8 guys. It's tough. It's tough to do that. Hence why we're passing up. Weren't that great today. But JD, what are you noticing about
lowest yardage output of Mahomes' career, by the way,
today's game?
Besides his dislocated kneecap game.
How interesting. But so Gary has a comment here saying my point is last year his first read is Kelce. Now he's staring down Rice. He should never be your first read. Watch the tape. Kelce's open. Mahomes just wants to throw deep every damn play. He's still open. Talking about Kelce. JD, you played in the league. I'm going to defer to you when it comes to this talk that Gary's all these comments that Gary's saying in the chat here. What are you seeing from Kelce, JD? Is Kelce open? Is Mahomes not looking his way? Because I feel like he forced an interception to try to get the ball to Kelce when he wasn't open. So
all right. I'm just going to write the one that Mahomes threw the what's the name of 2, right? Okay. The pick. Okay. Basically, you ran like a diamond from the backfield. All right, can y'all see this? Can y'all see that?
Yeah, good. Perfect. Right there.
All right. So Kelce runs straight up. Okay. Gets to the fluff. That's where he sits. All right. On that play. All right. Classic play for us. That's where we run all the time. Boy, I can't wait to get on my board. Jeez, I can't wait to get on board. But while we're doing that linebacker, the backside linebacker, fluffs over and takes the ball. He sees it. Well, Patrick, okay, because we cut down.
You can get JD the wide on this one if you probably can't remember.
Yeah.
We got 3 receivers, okay? 3 receivers on this one side of the ball, okay? Throwing it. All right. So it cuts down on our options. We only got 1 guy in this area, which is Pacheco. Okay. So that means you got 3 guys really in this zone that has to cover 1. So now all he does, so there's no threat. Linebacker comes over here, he gives help. So now you essentially got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in that zone covering on the other side where Kelce is. Does that make sense? Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
That's what ends up happening. So what they started doing is they just started playing zone and sitting back. So if Kelce's in your zone, cover him. Because why? Because Patrick goes to him. We know that. So I don't think he was forced to Rice. I don't believe he's forcing it to Rice. Sometimes when we try to get Kelce going, they understand that too. They do film work. Who can't beat you in the game? Travis Kelce, right? There's a reason why we have a pick, because we're trying to throw to Travis Kelce. They know to try to force the ball to him, okay? We're not trying to force it to Rice. We're not trying to do that. But we know they also understand that we do throw short yards pass, right? Quick passes to Rice, killed Ravens last week. Travis Kelce, let him go one-on-one. But everything has to work in sync. So part of it is pass rush, drop 7, pass rush. So that's what they're banking on. You got to play the odds of things. You have to, right? You understand this in the betting game. So sometimes you had to bracket Travis Kelce. That's the reason. And he did. He blocked a whole lot. He blocked a ton this game. Blocked a ton. The one he was able to get to Travis where he was going to throw the ball back is because he extended the ball with his legs. That's what happened. He was able to flush himself out. All right. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Kelce. I just think teams are just not going to let Kelce beat you. Right. If I'm not, I'm going to let the young dude coming from Texas that runs a 4.2, I'm going to let him beat me. Okay. I'm not going to let the guy that was going to go into a first ballot Hall of Famer that has all the records as a tight end just about beat me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be the guy that's on the same wavelength as Patrick Mahomes, be the guy. I can't. Because once they start cooking, it's all over. Everybody else opens up from that point. So that's how I look at it. If I'm attacking the Chiefs, I got to stop Kelce. I'm going to make sure of that. And we'll let everybody else eat. Let everybody else beat us. Let everybody else beat us. I get we want to throw the ball to him. I get we see Taylor Swift jumping up every single down, hoping he's going to get the football, right? I see it. I get it. I want him to get the football. But sometimes it's just not practical, especially with the defense that they run, because they're just not going to let him beat you.
That's tight end love. Of course you want him to get the football.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm jumping it there.
You do not want him to get the advantage. You want him to get the football more.
I feel like Taylor Swift out there, like, get the ball to Kelce. And, I realize defensively, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. They're boxing him in,
Yeah. To play devil's advocate with Gary's side, like, look, it's alarming to see him get 3 targets and 1 catch for 5 yards. Talking about Mahomes' worst game, coincidentally, it's probably Travis's worst game of his career, too. Yardage-wise, for sure. When has he ever had 5 yards in a freaking game before? It's their worst games of their careers. It's coincidence, right? But I don't know what the answer is. If it is a decoy, but like what you just said, it makes all the sense in the world. But at the same time, that's been teams' plans for years when we had less talent, that we were saying, make those guys beat us. When Juju was our number 1 receiver, they were saying, let Juju Smith-Schuster beat us, right? Like, not Kelce, anybody but Kelce. So to play the other side of it, it's like, well, why is this so different than before, right? Is it because he's a year older? Then it's like it takes that much more like youth and talent to get open now than it used to? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
We had 25 pass attempts. 25. Okay? 25 pass attempts. You said only 3 to Kelce that was thrown to him. So
6 to Rice.
6 to Rice,
yeah.
3 to Kelce. And so when you start looking at the distribution, what he's doing, right? You got to take what the defense gives you. I get you want to try to get the ball to Kelce. And so I'm sure it is maybe a combination of things. I don't believe it's like one of those things where he's throwing that, like everybody wants to use that narrative. I don't think that's what it is. And to be honest, when you look over the games of Cincinnati Bengals, and I haven't looked. I think Marcus, you was talking about this earlier, right? You were talking about, we were talking about this on the betting show. Okay. How many games have Travis Kelce had one of the bets? Like how many catches and yards he's had over the course of the games?
Oh, with Bengals?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been up and down. I mean,
last 4 games, including playoffs, was 16. Besides today, I'm not including today. 16, 78, 56, 95. Those are the last 4 games.
Overall, his career with the Bengals, I mean, it's not.
It was 16, 78, 56, 95. So it's kind of, if you look at it from the start of it, it's coming down.
And 25. You missed 25 one too. On January 2nd, 2022 is 25. So it looks like, I mean, it's up and down, right? I mean, like it's not, but yes, it has come down. I mean, 4 targets last December against them for 16 yards, 3 catches for 16 yards. So whatever they did last December against him, They figured something out in
Man,
that game, and they just replicated it this time, and we didn't overcome that. We didn't game plan against it.
I am not going to let him beat us. And all those numbers you just said are not Travis Kelce numbers that we're used to. They're not. They're not like something that you just write home about, right? I mean, you said 16, 25. He had, maybe a couple of good games and stuff like that. And then, like you said, Teja, the last one, they was like, oh, shoot, well, we're going to have to live this. We're going to have to live with this. So,
yeah, I mean, they definitely figured something out last game. 3 catches for 16 yards is not a good game. It's probably one of his other worst games. So he's had two of his last worst games the last probably few years against the Bengals.
Yeah,
So
and while we did won that game last year against the Browning-led Bengals, we won by 8. That was still a struggle of a game in that game. So I mean, obviously, yeah. And Gary's going, and now Gary's going to politics now.
And he's on your fantasy. I almost traded for him this week, Gary. So you know what? I feel pretty good right now. I could probably get him for a lot less.
Yeah, Gary's trying to say that politics and Swift are part of the issue here.
He's on his fantasy team, so now I see where a little frustration comes from.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. He probably drafted him high, which is it's okay. But
Yeah.
JD, do you think there is a big Kelce game coming down the pipeline here?
I think so. I think, like I said, the ones that know us, Baltimore and Cincinnati, we understand those are probably going to be 2 of our good contests that we had to play against. Cincinnati for sure. But like I said, if I'm a defensive coordinator, the one guy that's not going to beat me is 87. I'm sorry. I'll go win every single meeting, and I'm going to challenge my linebackers. I'm going to challenge my safeties. I'm going to make sure that we're going to bracket. I'm going to make sure that anytime that we're looking and Mahomes try to extend the ball with his legs, find where Travis Kelce is, because that's who he's looking for. That's going to be an emphasis for me as a defensive coordinator.
And that was going to be my other question here, just to tie into the Kelce thing. I have noticed in these 2 games, we haven't really seen Mahomes extend the plays that much, do his normal Mahomes magic. He's extending, because we saw it last week against Baltimore where he got Kelce on that like 15-yard little out route, one of his like longest plays of the game last week, where he rolled right and they found Kelce, where he broke Len Dawson's record. So there's that. Why aren't we seeing Mahomes do a lot of his usual extend the plays and find something downfield? We're not really seeing that so far. I'm curious, why do you think that is? Why we're not seeing a lot of that usual Mahomes like extend the play, run around back there for a little bit and find something?
Man, I don't know. I think if he sees it, he'll take it. But he had 4 attempts for 29 yards as far as running the ball. We've seen him run around a couple times today.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, Hendricks has almost ran his butt down from backside.
He did.
You think he don't feel that? Who was it? The linebacker came up 55 and tackled him. So they're trying to make it harder. They understand that he's one of the most prolific runners as a quarterback with his legs. Okay, very underrated. Very underrated. But he kills everybody because people, they don't think he's going to be the guy, and he'll kill you like that. But man, I just, who knows? But like when you sit there and look at this, man, 18 for 25 is that's what he had.
Yeah.
I'm also, aside from what Gary said, I'm as a fan and as a fantasy owner for both. It's been trending this way for a while that Rice is becoming his number 1 target. This isn't like a brand new thing. Towards the second half of last year and into the playoffs, Rice was more of the game breaker as far as the big time stats and the big time plays. So I'm not surprised that Rice is becoming his number 1 option. It's not really a shock to me. That's going to probably happen more and more as Travis gets older and as Rice enters his prime. He was a rookie last year. He's only going to get better this year. And I hate to say it, Travis from here on out is only going to get worse. It's just how it works. It's sad. I don't like it, but that's just the truth of the matter. It's just what's going to happen. One guy is going up like this, and one guy is starting to trend down a little bit. We hope it's a less of a slope going down, but it is going down nonetheless, and the other guy's going up.
Well, let me just ask you this. Who are you going to double? Would you rather double Rice or Travis? Let's talk football here. If I'm doubling somebody, just like we did on our defense, is every time I see Jamar Chase, even though we've seen a couple times, they doubled him up as much as possible. They weren't going to let Jamar Chase beat us. Come on, man. I mean, it's just X's and O's is just what they are. And so when I'm coming in and my game plan on what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure they have one guy. They let everybody else beat us. They let everybody else eat. The tight ends ate our lunch because we was running a whole lot of cover 3, isolating the linebacker, okay? And if we're not getting a pass rush, then you get Joe Burrow time to pick us apart. That's what happened against our defense. This one dude just hit me up on Twitter talking about, oh, your top 5 linebacker, Bolton, getting eaten up. Bolton wasn't the only one getting hurt by the tight ends. Everybody was losing. It's cover 3. It was zone. Joe Burrow was sitting back there eating a sandwich half the time.
Yeah.
So everybody can make those things. I'm just like, we must not saw the same game, because when I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it. Times we didn't get the pressure, okay? Now defense, because let's go to the defensive side of the ball. We're not talking enough about defense, okay? We're not talking about Pacheco. Time our defense didn't get any pressure on him, okay? Karlaftis had to come back and get the sack on him the one time. We were getting double teamed up top in the D line and leaving the lead back against Bolton. And so Bolton's trying to do, like, man, what do y'all look? You need to be in this gap. Like, you got to take 2 guys on. Like, anytime you leave me with a lineman coming to hit me, I'm gonna lose. They got to lead back against me. So as a defensive tackle, defensive line, you got to be able to protect me. And if I'm sitting back and we watching, like, OVSC or whatever his name, the kid that got 2 touchdowns, shoot, the one that he caught, the one where he did the turn back, Joe Burrow could sit back there, he tied his shoe, got back up, took his helmet off, rubbed his blonde hair, pulled it back, put his helmet back on and threw the touchdown. He had time. So
yeah, that 4th and goal play where they threw the touchdown, it looked like last week we were talking about how Karlaftis was standing up. All D line was standing up, just gassed.
Yeah.
But you talk about tight end coverage. That was where I wanted to go next. So it was great timing by you to go there from Kelce to the opposing team's tight ends. I will say I was happy with and I'll say maybe they didn't have to. I know running backs was a big part of having to stop their running backs, Chase Brown, Zach Moss out of the backfield. Not the running game. We dominated the running game pretty damn good in this game. We took care of that real well.
Yep.
But as far as catching passes out of the backfield, they didn't really need to do that today because they were every tight end on that team. Drew Sample, Gesicki was kind of eating us. And it wasn't just Bolton. Justin Reed also got dominated today a little bit.
Yep.
A lot of the guys in secondary. I know everyone's supposed to say, 32. Well, actually, yeah, while 32 did get, the tight ends did target him a little bit. He also laid the wood a few times during that game, and he made he had nice pass deflection. He did some things in the game, but there's other guys too who are getting eaten up by the tight ends, Sample and Gesicki. So like, it wasn't just Nick Bolton.
Come on, look, man. Saying that is you just want to make him your guy that you hate on. But Reed, Gesicki was eating him out on the out route when they was running like the stack plays. The one he caught where he almost scored, Gesicki, Reed fell down on the play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm saying this again: if you're not getting generating any type of pass rush, I don't care how good of a linebacker you are. He can't cover all day against a guy that's a much superior athlete, especially he's running forward, he's running backwards. Gesicki's a wide receiver playing tight end. Drew Sample, they run a whole lot of 12 and 13 personnel. You know why? Because those guys can catch. The one dude, what's his name? Sucker's good. He's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
But they were doing it's film study, okay? It's film study, guys. True. They know that, look, if we understand that the weakest part of their defense, okay, is covering tight ends or running backs, let's do that, okay? Let's attack that. Let's go against their safeties. Let's attack that. Let's not attack out there McDuffie, okay? Not attack that. Let's make sure their guys are not going to get home. The one we got to make sure don't beat us on defense, on the defensive line is who? Chris Jones.
9-5, yeah.
So,
but two weeks in a row of the tight ends, Ravens tight ends, Bengals tight ends. I mean, there's the most Joe Burrow's ever thrown to his tight ends in his career. In one half alone, I think he outdid any single game with his tight ends. And then obviously
13 yards.
I mean, wild. So
he almost doubled Chase targets.
Yeah, that tells you.
I don't think they're phasing out Chase of their passing game. I mean, just like he took what they gave him. He made it a lot harder to get the ball to Chase. So he had faith in another player on his team to get the ball to him more, and it worked. It did great.
Also, I remember Joshua Williams also got cooked by Gesicki on one play. He took a horrible angle at him. That was brutal.
Yeah. The second probably could have had one in the end zone.
Yeah. And he dropped another one too, I thought. Right?
Dropped another one. His out route, deep out route.
He should have had like 8 for like 100 something, really.
Man, those are cover 3 beaters. Cover 3 beaters, you know what you do. You run off the corner, okay? You have an out route. You run it in on the safety. Also, to cover 3, you have the seams that are open. So they're attacking what they see defensively. That's I mean, shoot. Any offensive coordinator worth the salt is going to do that. So
do you think that today we did a good job against the running backs, or was that just it was just because the tight ends were eating us up so much they didn't even need to do? They didn't even need to run.
They ran 12 or 13 personnel. So Jamar Chase on one side, okay. Sample all Gesicki on another. Gesicki's, like I said, is another wide receiver. He's running seam routes. He's running slants right there in the seam. Okay. He's running guys out. The times that Jamar Chase was able to catch those little hitch routes, all Gesicki's doing is just running that corner off. They're just stacking it. That's it. When they got down there to the end zone, they ran spacing. Okay. I think for us, we didn't do a good job of spacing them out. Against our defense, they did. They started spacing us out a little bit more with the tight ends. So
now, is this anything we can correct, JD, or are we missing? Because I see guys in the chat here, B Music and J Money both miss Willie Gay, and they were missing Willie Gay. It's a missing Willie Gay problem. Do you think it's something that's correctable stuff, or I mean, how do you fix this? Being poor against tight ends like 2 games in a row.
You got to get a pass rush. That's what you have to do. And if you're going to blitz, go ahead and blitz. You see how the blitz, when you start bringing pressure, things start changing up a little bit. Joe Burrow's a guy that's going to sit in the pocket, okay? He's a pocket passer. As long as he sits back there and unabated, he's going to try to pick you apart. He's an accurate quarterback. That's what makes Joe Burrow so good, is because he's going to be accurate. So we ain't talking about chopped liver here, fellas, okay?
We always miss a guy that left after a really bad game by that positional group. So we got cooked by tight ends and running backs with Willie. Okay. It happened then too. So yes. It wasn't like there's a reason why our most betted things were tight ends and running backs last 2 weeks coming off of last season when Willie played. We knew how this defense played and what give it up. But at the end of the day, would you rather let a group of 3 tight ends beat you, or would you rather let Jamar Chase beat you for 150 yards? I mean, at least let the Belichick rule. Don't let the best player beat you.
Right.
If they're going to beat you by getting, 258 yards for Burrow, 152 of those were from tight ends. 23 completions from Burrow. 14 of those were from the tight ends. So if they're going to beat us, have the 3 tight ends beat us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sticking with defense, I just want to give a shout out. I think I want to hear your praise on this guy, JD, or if you do have praise. I think Shamari Connor, obviously Chris Jones is Chris Jones, but Shamari Connor, 2 game-changing plays. Obviously the fumble recovery to take it to the house, and then the sack that to force him to punt the ball and for us to obviously have a shot. I think Shamari Connor, timely plays. I think he also had a nice tackle on punt return or kick return. So he kind of made his damage all throughout the game, and he's – what are you going to say, Teja?
I was going to say 4 solos, a sack, a tackle for a loss, a QB hit, and a TD.
Well, I told you, man, you know how I feel about Jamari Coleman, man. Jamari Coleman is a baller for us. I love him anytime he's out there on the field. I know he's going to probably make a play. He's one of those guys that I trust when you put him in, because I know he's going to try to do everything right. He's one of those guys I know on our defense that I have no issue about. So I'm glad to see that he scooped and score on that. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, man, we know he's a solid player for us. He really is.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. If we're about to leave soon. I want to give a shout out to a guy that's gotten a lot of criticism over the last year. Butker, our kicker. We take for granted how reliable he is. I mean, our kicker hit a 52-yarder, and we hardly mentioned for an hour and 7 minutes. It's not because we don't appreciate him. It's because we've grown accustomed to see him do this time and time and time again. I wasn't that nervous before that, and that's crazy. That's coming from a person who's been a fan since Lynn Elliott. Okay, so I've seen kickers mess up games for us. To not be nervous when watching that means a lot because you have such a solid kicker, and that's a prime reason Gary and others want to talk about it. I don't like mixing politics with football or anything else like that. I like my football players on the field to do their job. Everything else that's separate is completely separate. But when he's on the field wearing that jersey, I'm rooting for him to hit that kick, and he hits it every friggin' time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason he's the highest paid kicker in football right now.
Worth every penny.
Yeah. We understand that. You know, we ain't take it for granted. We wrote that sucker a check. Here we go. Yeah, we'll take it, right? And so that's the thing. And they were just talking about the other guy on the other side, too, how good of a kicker he was, right? And he is. He's a good kicker, too. Up-and-coming kicker. Buckner has earned his stripes. He has. And so at the end of the game, it's still like one of those things like, okay, come on, Buck. Like you're still rooting for him to get it.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah. So I just, but I'd rather it be on his foot than anybody else in the league right now.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and the zeros behind his name says so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody want to give a shout out to JD? Anybody that we didn't mention on the show that you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out wise as far as Wanye Morris. Give a shout out to him, man, for getting his first touchdown. Man, that's a big deal for a lineman. It really is. He'll never forget that. He will never forget it. And the linemen with him was so congratulatory for it, like, oh my gosh, man, way to go and stuff. So I shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Another one I want to give a shout out to as well. To have the focus and the guys trust him was Carson Steele after the fumble, not to put his head down, and they still trusted him to come in and do it. That is huge. That is huge. You have the amount of confidence now that he has, that the coaches don't turn their back on you. Because it's easy when the guy's fumbling and stuff, and sometimes them carries get real slim. And they say, man, we're going to put it right back in your gut to get the first down and carry and tote it for us at the end of the game. You could have easily had a Samjay Piran, a guy that's been in the league for a number of years, do that. They decided to give it to a rookie, Carson Steele, undrafted guy to do it. Huge. So that was my shout-outs, man.
Yeah. A game where Wanye Morris and Shamari Connor score touchdowns. We come away with a 26-25 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us on this Sunday night post-game reaction show of week 2. JD and I will be back on tomorrow on our YouTube channel, Chief Concerns. JD will give out his grades for the game tonight. And then we'll go on Wednesday on our YouTube channel as well. JD will be doing some board work for us in the dungeon, as he calls it.
Yes, sir. Break it all the way down. I'm gonna break it all the way down. Some of these plays that everybody's talking about. So
we got a nice, nice little preview with the little paper you had right there.
Yeah,
let's see 25 plays where Kelce's open.
But all right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow night on our YouTube channel, Chief Concerns. Thank you, everyone, for contributing in the conversation. B Music, Gunners, J Money. Even Gary Hands. I'll give Gary Hands, even though he was upset we didn't talk about Kelce enough. Mike Brennan, our guy, Laura, some familiar faces, Robert Francis, and Baluch 2143. But all right, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow night on Chief Concerns YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Love you guys.
Love guys. See y'all later.
Later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.